What's up guys, I'm NOOB-Genesis and this is from Sniping Noob to Sniping Pro. And today I'm bringing you a gameplay on Hijacked using the DSR with the diamond camo. This is a little bit older gameplay. And today I'm bringing you a commentary based on, a lot of people have this misunderstanding, this thought that snipers and reg guns game style is hugely different, when there's actually quite a lot of similarities. And I'm going to try and go over that in this video. But before I do that, I want to just say that my PlayStation is still broken. The disc tray is still broken. However, I have just bought the digital copy off the PlayStation Store, and it's actually downloading at the moment. It is at 44%. So hopefully I'll be able to start playing again, and hopefully that doesn't screw up, or that just wasted me $100. And yeah, so I expect to see. I'm probably going to do a live com of my first game back after a week and a half or whatever. So pretty interested to see how terrible my shot's gotten. But anyway, back to the commentary. Yeah, what I want to talk about, as I said, was the thought that sniping gameplay and reg gun gameplay is so different and you're supposed to play differently. Now, while some of that's true, because obviously you've got that's a gun that you have to be a lot more accurate with, and if not, you're dead. But at the same time, there are many things that is not much different from reg gunning. And if you think like a reg gunner a lot, a really good reg gunner or the pub stompers and stuff like that, you're actually probably going to do a bit better. Because there are things that are what makes a good player good, regardless of what you're using. Like, you'll see a knife-only person, and they'll do shit tons of flanking. More so than a reg gunner, maybe, more so than a sniper. But that's the thing, there really shouldn't be that much of a gap. Because, obviously, knife-only, it's pretty difficult to do, especially in this game as well. And the flanking is such a vital part. But generally, when you're also reg gunning, you flank. The thing is I see a lot of snipers, and they don't do this. They're like, oh shit, I got this gun, I can one-shot them if I'm just a little bit of a distance. But they still go for these head-on gunfights, and I do it a lot too. And the head-on gunfights, if you miss your shot, you lose. But if you flank, like just here, I'm like up against these three guys. If someone had to come around that side, like I think Ben's going there now, but if I had to come from that side, I could have. Like, I got a hit marker, but if that wasn't a hit marker, even if it was a hit marker, I could have gotten a second shot off at least before they even turned and recognized I was there. But instead, I went and pressed on straight ahead and got myself shot because they could obviously see me. And that's just some of the things. It's same with just there. I'm head glitching like you should be. I know at first it got pretty cheap in MW3 and stuff, and it's something that you just have to adapt to, I guess. But either way, I decided to head glitch because obviously I got more cover, and that's just what a reg gunner does as well. A knife-friendly person maybe not so much, but even if they want to get a quick glimpse, but it's still the same thing. Still head glitching, still getting my shot up with the advantage, and hopefully I'll try and flank more often. The next thing is, well, probably perk choices. Even just whole class setup choices. People have got this idea that, okay, a sniper maybe needs to use hardwired, or they have to do this, or they have to do that. Like, for example, I use fast hands for my tack inserts. A lot of people don't use fast hands because they're not that fast by the speed it takes to place a tack insert, or they just don't use a tack insert in general. And that's fine. And the thing is just because I use it or another sniper uses it doesn't mean you should. It's just like reg gunning. You should pick your class according to how you play. If, as I said, I don't flank as much as I should, and I know that, I am more than likely going to come up against... If I get stunned, I need tack mask because it's more than likely they're going to see me straight away after stunning me and shoot at me. If I was flanking, maybe not so much because they're not going to be trying to stun me in that direction. But because my gameplay style is I rush it head on a lot, I need tack mask, and that's what you should be doing. It's the same if I was reg gunning. You build your class towards how you play. You don't do it the other way around. Just because one person plays one way doesn't mean you should build your class to aim like them. Another good example is probably attachments. A lot of people use ballistic CPU, and I did say to use it in my kill feed class guide, but I've come to realize that I don't particularly need the CPU. Like, I figured out what it was a bit more, and I don't really use it. But a lot of snipers choose to use it, and that's their choice. So just because one person uses it or doesn't use it doesn't mean you should or shouldn't. It's up to you. Like, for example, the whole point of the ballistic CPU is it's a bit more of a hard scoping thing. It stops the idle sway. It's more useful on, say, the DSR, because the DSR has the most idle sway out of the snipers. But if you're not finding yourself, if you're more like quick scoping to the point where you're just pretty much black scoping or no scoping them, then you're not really going to need it. And that's another thing. If you're no scoping a lot, you should probably be using laser sight rather than, I don't know, probably the ballistic CPU. And that's the thing. You got to just keep on changing it up to suit your playstyle and no one else's. If it works for you, it works for you. And that's, again, it's the same with reg guns. If you have a gun that you are comfortable with and you've got the attachments for it, just because someone else uses something different and it works well for them, doesn't mean it's going to particularly work well for you. So you should change it because of that. So again, that's another thing, that it doesn't matter whether you're a reg gunner or a sniper or anything like that, it works for you as a player. And that's just part of the whole mindset thing and trying to figure it out, because a lot of COD is a mental game. Especially like when you do the pro stuff as well. If you look at them, there's a huge thing about it. A lot of them use the same guns and similar guns, but they still change it up a bit. But that's also because the way they play all comes kind of similar. I mean, when you're in pub, it's more unpredictable, or sorry, less predictable, I should say. And you got to adapt to that a lot more. Whereas you can kind of understand what a pro player is going to do, because you think, oh, they're going to do this, because that's what I would do. Because you're normally facing people on the same level as you, who would think similar. But pub is just so much different. Like, everyone does everything crazy. Anyway, enough rambling. The next thing I want to say is starting a gunfight on your own terms. Now, this is quite a big one when you're red gunning, because it helps a lot, and it all depends. It more so depends on your weapon in general. So, like, an assault rifle player is going to want to sit back, head glitch something before pushing forward. Get the kill, then move forward, and then keep doing that over and over. While a SMG or a shotgun is going to want to get as close as possible. But the other thing is, even then, a player with an SMG will run into a room, know the enemy's coming. That person should still, instead of pushing forward again and sprint through a doorway so he's about to go head on with each other, that person should post up for just a few seconds behind something that they can get cover on, and then let that person come to them. That way, that person's going to run in, probably mid-sprint, so they can't aim down sight as fast anyway, and they're going to get shot first while the other person's got a little bit of cover. Now, that's another thing. Other than when you're head glitching to try and get feeds, I don't really see many people use that type of mindset. Regardless, like me, I rush probably too much. Like, I don't like saying that because I really hate camping, but I probably rush a bit too much. I don't sit back enough unless I'm looking down a choke point where there's high chances of feeds. But overall, for a gameplay perspective, I rush out doorways faster than I should. I should sit back and wait a bit for the player to come to me. And that's more important, or not more important necessarily, but it's very important when you've got a sniper, because you control the long-range engagements like nothing else except maybe an LMG. Those things are just evil. But, for example, if you're coming up against the Scorpion, you do not want to be at point-blank range. If your opponent has one of those things, you are screwed at point-blank range. Even if you're going to have to get a lucky no-scope, if anything, to get them. And you don't want that to be the deciding factor whether the no-scope hits or not. So, what you should be doing, like, I know it's a little hard to explain it on hijack because everything is still a pretty close area, but right here, I've got that distance between where they spawn. That was more of a spawn trap feed spot. But even if you look here, if I was back near the spar a bit and that Scorpion came around, they might have to take an extra bullet to kill me. And that gives me a little extra time to, well, kill them first. And that's kind of how it should work. You should always be in the situation where it's going to make it harder for them to kill you and easier for you to kill them. And I know that's just common logic, but when you're sniping, or when I've seen people sniping, it doesn't seem to pop into their heads as much, because, again, they have this mindset that, oh, I'm sniping, I don't need to abide by the standard rules. I mean, and I get where they're coming from, and it kind of does feel like that, but you really should try and work against that, especially when you're going for gameplays. Not as much feeds, but gameplays. But anyway, guys, I'm pretty sure this gameplay should be coming to an end. I yet again can't tell because Sony Vegas is still being crap. I managed to get one video, my last video out using Sony Vegas, but now it won't even open. I mean, seriously, this thing's just annoying. So I'm still sitting in Adobe Audition and my high-tech Windows Media Player. But I've got that minimized for a second while I'm just doing this. But yeah, that's the main thing, guys. Just keep in mind that this game is a very mental game, and just because you're using a sniper rifle doesn't mean you shouldn't play like a reg gunner, because a lot of the reg gunner's tactics can easily be used in any situation, regardless of what gun or what game type or what type of gameplay you're going for. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed the video and have fun. Expect a live comm soon.
Good fight. Time to